Do you have a good temper? Temperament refers to personality traits that determine how someone reacts to the world. Are they boisterous or quiet? Apprehensive or easygoing? Cheerful or moody? Lovable or hostile? The traits of temperament are mostly innate traits that we are born with, although they can be influenced by individuals' family, culture, or their experiences. A person's temperament style plays a role in how they behave and interact with other people and within the world.
So, what do you understand of the notion of temperament? What is temperament?
Temperament is your behavior. How would you judge one's temperament based on their actions, behavior, responses? There's a natural disposition compared to, I don't know, a natural way of reacting when something happens, like a death. You might get a different temperament of someone not doing the norm of crying or grieving in a certain way. They might respond in a different way.
So my understanding of temperament, it's your tolerance to other people's behavior, and knowing when to act upon it. So it could be example, if someone steps on your foot for the first time, okay, it's a mistake. I accept your apology. They do it the second time, third time, fourth time. Okay, it's still a mistake, but please learn from it. Fourth, sixth, 10th time, now it's like, wow, you're crossing the line now. Like, just don't do it again. So it just kind of reminds me of that. Or if you're, for example, if you're on the streets and you're preaching the truth, and you have people coming up to you, questioning you, and throwing out their own gods and their own religions and their own beliefs, and you just have to stand and take it and just rebuke them with righteousness and rebuke them with righteous anger as well. But do it in a way that if they cross the line, like if they physically attack you or spit in your face or anything like that, that's when it's like, no, that's enough, sort of thing. So yes, that's my short example of temperament.
So yeah, basically, yeah, I mean, it's a hard one to answer, but I'd say when your temperament is normally when you're describing somebody else or someone's describing you, and it's more of a descriptive. How would you describe this person's temperament? How would you describe? It's kind of like they use. It's that descriptive. So again, in sort of furthering on from that, you'd use that to describe someone's temperament as being mild, fiery, quick to anger, short fuse. Always describe somebody's temperament. And I think temperament is just another word for, I don't know, a description of somebody. How would you describe somebody? So, yeah, in short.
Temperament for me means a way of being. So, the way that you feel, he was of a happy temperament, she was of a sad temperament.
Here's what I've always understood temperament. Temperament is the combination of your emotional attitude and your physical character. You see, so like as you just said about being of a happy temperament, it's not just how you feel, but what you reenact to express your happiness. So he's always got, or he or she's got a very happy temperament. Why? Because they saw how the person was acting, and they can perceive the expression of the emotion. An angry temperament. That means the whole demeanor, body, language, everything. So it's uptight or maybe very explosive, very aggressive. And the emotional expression is very, as I said, aggressive, very violent, attacking everybody. So, as I said, it's like, or it is the combination of your emotional attitude and your physical characteristics. Or can we do it the other way? Emotional characteristics and physical attitude. When they're displayed to those that are around you in your environment. So somebody can have a somber temperament, being the, very laid back, cool, easy. Why? Because of how they physically are. I mean, they're not, really active. They look very relaxed, very chilled, and by the attitude, by the emotion, very even tempered, cool, easy, very reasonable, not aggressive. So overall, it's showing a somber temperament. So by understanding all what we've been describing, is this question: in all respect, how important must be our temperament on the whole?
Our temperament generally should be reflective of who and what we are and stand for. At all times would be the ideal.
Very good. So what do you mean by it has to be a reflection of what we stand for? In what respect?
So standing for meaning that we are a direct reflection of the Almighty 24/7.
So it's to be like the Most High all time. So our temperament to be meek, peaceful, humble, um, patient, having wisdom, the spirit of understanding, profess godliness, brotherly love, kind, slow to anger, and selfless.
Both correct, completely correct. Why would it be important to be of this nature? It's basically the structure of what we're supposed to be at all times. It's supposed to be a reflection of who we represent. Basically, the definitions of what we're supposed to be: kind, meek, understanding, patient, and all the other spiritual characteristics. Now, the question I'm asking the rest of you is, why is it that important? Why should it be that important for us to be a reflection of what we stand for and represent and believe in and live for, and those particular characteristics and more? Peaceful, understanding, meek, forthright, loving, so on and so on. Why is it that important?
It's important because we will be judged on it by the Most High, and we're supposed to be here to do our Father's business, and literally as like Christ is our Godhead, and so we should be walking in faith. And I think we touched base on it regarding wisdom and knowledge as well, and the two difference in it. So not only we should be like speaking the truth, but we should also be walking in it as well, because it's all about saving souls.
Yeah, it's like being in a relationship with someone.
Good.
And they want to be with you. You want to be together, and you stimulate each other. It's a relationship. I always say it's like playing basketball. You play basketball with someone, you want them to bounce it back. But some people, when you play with the basketball, they pop the ball. They want to play on their own, and it's not a relationship. So I guess one of the reasons I will say is important is because it maintains your relationship. You can get deeper, you get trusted to carry more, rather than that feeling of Groundhog Day. Like, we can only learn patience through waiting, or we can only learn being humble by being humbled. So I would say it's important because it is about a relationship with your father, and then that what you do in secret, he rewards you in full. It's important because the fundamental existence before any other duty is to be in a fellowship relationship with your father, and you want to be closer. You want to hear good and faithful servant, well done. So do what it is that he likes. And there is a natural disposition. So rather than fight against that, those who are, in these predicaments of understanding, then much more is required. So see it as a joy. Every moment is an opportunity. So you might miss it at one stage, but the conviction that you get that, oh, I could have handled that wrong, it just gives you another chance to, at the next moment, the next opportunity, just to correct yourself.
I like the point that you brought up about those that do, or at least they try to exercise righteous temperaments, are rewarded. Because this is something that people gloss over. You see, we always talk about doing the action and why it's good, and but this is one of, if not the main reason, because this is one of the things that the Heavenly Father keeps on saying, that be good, I will reward you. Be good, I will reward you. Be good, I will. He keeps on saying this. But I think a lot of us, especially a lot of us that doesn't follow the truth, or to follow whatever they follow, they usually believe that the rewards are always physical. But as you said, he usually rewards you in private.
Well, the rewards technically are both ways. Because you got a private relationship with your father, so you do get those private rewards where you get deeper in the spirit, or the communication, or the sensitivity, or the spiritual. This is your own, but you do get rewarded in public too. Because, for example, walking in these kind of ways with people who is a little bit unbalanced or disturbed, or don't have the fruits of the spirit, when you start seeing their attitude change, when you start seeing their reaction change to things, and then they start to teach other people a better way of living, then this is an outward reward. Or somebody being nasty to you, and then they just have a karma right in front of you, and they're trying to. So I believe the rewards are in and out, depending on how open you are to sacrificing yourself and living your life in the spirit. I think the rewards are endless. So in and out rewards.
I agree with you, but I think I had to explain it a bit more, because he believe me, he rewards behind closed doors and in the open. But what I understood of privately is that only those that understand him can see that they've been rewarded. Do you understand what I mean? Because sometimes
100%.
a lot. Oh, cool. Because sometimes even the person that has been rewarded, sometimes they don't know they've been rewarded. Their brothers and sisters say, listen, man, that's a blessing what you just received. And then they say, oh, yeah, it's true, you're right. Do you understand my point? Like, who can say, oh, John the Baptist, he was rewarded? How? Who can tell me how John the Baptist was rewarded? Let's remember, this is a brethren that lived in the wilderness. He didn't go out into the town, let alone the city. Every day, food hand to mouth, whatever is in the wild. You wore one type of garment, if that. That was his life for up until he died. And when he died, he was imprisoned for a crime he never committed. And it's not like afterwards, the Almighty broke the prison open and he left and nobody could stop him. Or he was just brought away by the wind by 3 archangels. Nothing. He was imprisoned and he was beheaded. And then his head was given as a present to another human being. As if he died as if he'd done something incredibly bad, as if he was cursed. How was John rewarded?
Was it because his main role was to pronounce the Messiah? He even baptized the Messiah. You see what I mean? Going in that direction. That was his reward.
His reward was that he was the forerunner. That's like one of his rewards. Out of all the people on earth that came and lived, came and passed away, he was chosen to proceed before the coming of our king. You try and explain that to Hillary Clinton or to Madonna. You go, why? They'll look at each other as if we're the dumb ones. They can't see any, they can't eat that. I can't put it on my skin like perfume. It's not underwear, it's no expensive Italian shoes. But if they were made the forerunner of Lucifer, then they'll get it. That's like the way we will see that. We think that's the worst thing you can be. Where's the reward? Because if you go and check his temperament, he's a very forthright man. Extremely confident, to say the least. Didn't hide his words. Didn't hold back. From what I can understand, the truth was always with him. He was chosen to baptize the king. But then he died like a criminal. He died like if God himself cursed him. Where's the reward?
Are you referring to the reward being in the after?
Go on, I'm listening.
So the reward is the fact that you was chosen, the fact that you got part of the story. I mean, this is just all that's running through my head. The reward is just your story. So,
Go on.
when you're obedient to the natural disposition, which is righteousness, and you live the life, not saying living the life trying, but you live the life as though you can't not live. You're born, you're here, you serve your time in representing him, serving you. You know, we all have different roles. So if I just say it in a simplistic way, I can say it: serve your time, and when it's time to go, you go, and that's the reward you cross over, which is why we were talking about the new heaven, and the reward is being chosen.
Yes, you are 100% correct. I'm glad that you didn't only point it out, i.e., the reward is being of the chosen, being of the saints, being of the elect. And you described it. You see what it entails. That we go through a hardship here. Why? Because this world, this kingdom, this place, this system is for the people of this world. So that's why I gave the example of Hillary Clinton and Madonna. They don't get any of Noah's suffering, Jonah's suffering, Paul's suffering. And at least 3, if not 4 different books talks about this specifically. And even Baruch was complaining about this, saying that, you know, when he sees all of these situations, all the visions you show us, and I think, I believe Isaiah spoke about this, and even Enoch. It's as if we live and then we die, but we just suffer throughout the whole situation. And this is what the wicked people are saying. So we live like the same way. But then you live and die and gain nothing. But we gain and reap from this world. But we both die the same. So what, you know, yeah, exactly. Why can't you just live like us? Exactly what he said. We're chosen. So we know our rewards ain't here. We know that in all respect, this kingdom is going to treat us incredibly bad or incredibly badly. So we have to be prepared for it. That's why somebody as righteous as that man would die in that manner. So many of our brothers died horribly just for talking. See? Some had to be like Yoda and, you know, escape and die alone. Not saying, well, quite a few died peacefully, because some died incredibly bad. Just as if they've been cursed. That's why the story of Job is there, to say that you could be 100% righteous, then the world will treat you in that manner. You need that type of spiritual temperament, because it will help you endure. It will help you take the oppression of emotionally and physically. And this is where your temperament comes into play.